Had another one of those moments, haven't I, folks, where I've set something up, hit the button, and it went live. Did it go live? I don't know if it went live. And 3 hours later, I come on. I apologise. Oh, shit, nearly 4 hours. Was it 1:45? God. So yes, been watering dirt today. A lot of dirt. I'd go around the bus and show you, but I'm absolutely knackered. Been going since 7 o'clock this morning, and it's been pretty eventful. I'm surprised that this hand isn't shaking like that, because that bloody concrete vibrator. What an interesting beast it is. I hope your Saturday's going all right, folks. Hearing some interesting comments that are coming out of one particular area in Melbourne. There is a lot of angst and anxiety, I think, in Melbourne at the moment because of much of the illegality the Victorian government is conducting on its people. And I have reason to believe that there are certain members in the community down there that might be getting a little more passionate about proceedings than maybe I would caution you to be. Did that come out right? I know it's very frustrating. I know much of the injustice that has been committed against people in Victoria particularly has been heinous and ongoing. They apply the pressure, release a little bit of it here, apply it here, and Victoria have been milked like that. Victorians have been milked last number of years from Dan Andrews through, and it continues. And I think there is a rising level of frustration at the inability for police to help the people, the inability for the armed forces to come and help the people if the police won't. It seems that the people are left to their own devices. And that's a dangerous thing, because when you are frustrated, when you feel you have nowhere else to turn, when you feel that if no one else will fight against the injustice you're experiencing, then you must, and fight the only way you know how, some people don't pick up the pen, they pick up the pitchfork. I would caution you, please don't pick up the pitchfork. I know it's frustrating. I know we've been talking about the end for years, and the end hasn't really materialised yet. We think we've got it in sight, but do we really? Is it a movie, or is it just truly a horror show we are living? I know it's frustrating, but we can't pick up the pitchfork yet. I'm not saying there's ever going to be a time to pick up the pitchfork, but it's certainly not now. It's certainly not now. While we may have what we think are numbers behind us, and there might be many pitchforks raised, there aren't enough. And they are pitchforks, not fully automatic assault weapons, backed by, wielded by international police with complete exemption from anything they choose to do to you, the person holding the pitchfork. Think this through. I know you're angry. We're all angry. I know you're frustrated. We're all frustrated. But do not think for a minute we are all going to pick up the pitchfork and follow you down this road, should you choose to go that way. Because while some will, many won't. And you will damage our freedom future and set back our goals by decades, maybe forever, if you do that. If there is a time for pitchforks, it will become apparent, but this is not it. And while I understand people in Victoria are angry, are very frustrated, and people all over Australia are, but it seems to be a large concentration in Victoria, and for very good reason, the rest of the country doesn't feel quite as strongly as you do. You cannot rely on New South Wales, South Australia and Tasmania picking up the pitchforks to defend and come to your border. You could certainly depend on a number of Queenslanders coming for help, but they would expect it in return when they raise the pitchforks in Queensland. We want to avoid this, folks, if at all possible. Violence is not the way forward. Frustration is a hard and bitter pill to swallow at times. I've never been very good at patience, being patient. And I think this is what God is trying to teach me this time round. My lesson, one of them in this life, is to learn patience. And timing. Patience and timing. I've got a very good grip on one. I've got a moderately controllable grip on the other. But if we can't develop our patience, if we let our frustrations carry away, we will burn the bridge. Not only the bridge, we will burn the world down. And unfortunately, it's our world that will be burnt down, not theirs. Because, as we've spoken about many times, we've got no backup. Unless all the people, or the very, very highest majority of them, stand with us. And if they were to do that, we shouldn't need a pitchfork. So we have to convince more people of that we are certain. How do you do that? Well, there's plenty of peer reviews now coming out, peer-reviewed scientific data to explain to your friends. Now, some of them, and you're going to have to learn how to read your friends and family about this, or the people you talk to about this. Some of them can't deal with it, don't want to deal with it, refuse. They might know in their heart that what you're saying is real, but because of the brainwashing, what can we do about it? I'm just going to go along and try and pay my mortgage this month, and please don't get me in any trouble. I don't want to live in a car. I want to keep a roof over my head. Now, these are the kinds of mindsets that we are up against. Deliberately, they have set this up to make it much harder for us to convince people of their power. And we all have that power. We all have that inner power, but by God and His grace, if we join together, the power of us all is insurmountable. No pitchforks required. Just knowledge, education. And there's a lot of that available all over the place. All of us have something to offer in that regard, whether it be Guru or me or whoever. truth seekers, Beck Freedom. Everybody has something to offer. But rather than sitting there and watching us offer it up, maybe we have to start offering different things that encourage you to take action. And I know many of you do already. But we need more action. We need to not preach to the converted so much. We need to induct more newbies, to use motorcycle club parlance. We need some prospects. Which reminds me, we're going to talk about happy clapping churches one day too. Maybe one night next week we'll talk about happy clapping churches. Somebody remind me. So that's just my little bit for today. I know I usually don't do things on a Saturday, and I've taken a bit of a break. I'm had a drink. I'm sitting in the shade because it is quite sunny. So I'm having a bit of a break. I think it's about 27 or 8 degrees. So it's not that hot, but the pad is looking pretty good. I think probably got as much of what we're going to get done today as we're going to get done. I'll have a break, and as soon as the sun dips a little lower, I'll get into some of the wood that I've got over the back here to chop up. So the day is not done by a long shot yet, and I hope you are having a great one. Let me see if I can read any of these little chats here. Cooker28, thanks for educating us, Carl. Cooker28, I don't know if you're being facetious or you're being genuine. I've got no idea. But thank you, regardless. Black sheep, we should start our own secret society and beat them at their own game. Wouldn't be the first person to actually think that, mate, just between you, me and the gatepost. I can't tell you anymore because I'd be telling secrets. All right, I'm going to head off because somebody has just turned up here who wants to see me about something, so I'm going to need to go and do that. Have yourself a bloody good day, folks. Talk to you soon, and stay off the road. There's plenty of dickheads around.